We're always chasing the latest diet trend, counting every single calorie. But what if the most powerful blueprint for health has been sitting in an ancient text this whole time? We're about to unlock it. Think about it. It's this huge paradox, right? We have more nutritional science than ever before, but as a whole, we're sicker than we've ever been. It kind of makes you wonder if we've been looking for answers in all the wrong places. So here's the idea we're going to dig into today. What if the Bible isn't just a spiritual guide? What if it's also a surprisingly practical manual for our physical health, packed with foods that modern science is just now proving can fight disease and totally change how our bodies work? This right here, this isn't just beautiful poetry. You should think of this verse from Deuteronomy as an inventory list for a divine pharmacy. It's a very specific list of God-given foods with profound and, as you're about to see, scientifically proven health benefits. Okay, so let's jump right in. In this first part, we're going to connect that ancient wisdom directly to hard, modern clinical proof. We're going to look at what was prescribed back then and what's being proven in the lab right now. Let's kick things off with olive oil, the absolute liquid gold of the ancient world. It's mentioned over 140 times in the Bible, and believe me, it was way more than just food. It was a sacred substance, and it was powerful medicine. So when you read about the Good Samaritan, his actions weren't just a symbol of kindness. He was literally applying a known antiseptic and anti-inflammatory to the man's wounds. And here's the wild part. Modern science has actually isolated a key compound in extra virgin olive oil called oleocanthal. Get this, it's a natural anti-inflammatory that works inside your body in a way that is almost identical to ibuprofen. So that ancient practice, it was rooted in some very real pharmacology. And that single compound helps explain all these other benefits. The entire Mediterranean diet, which is built on olive oil as its absolute cornerstone, has been linked in hundreds of clinical trials to these incredible outcomes. It's not just one thing, it's this whole symphony of benefits that ancient cultures they understood it intuitively. Okay, so let's move on to another staple from our divine pharmacy, honey. In the Bible, honey is consistently presented as more than just a sweetener. It's a food that gives strength, clarity, and life. When Jonathan dipped his rod in honey, the text says his eyes brightened. This was a source of immediate, powerful energy. So why is it so powerful? Well, the secret is that we're talking about raw, unheated honey. It's got this unique protein called defensin 1, which actively goes on the attack and destroys bacteria. In fact, clinical trials have confirmed it can kill even antibiotic-resistant superbugs like MRSA. It is one of nature's strongest antimicrobials, period. And if you need one mind-blowing fact to remember just how special this food is, here it is. Archaeologists have found pots of honey in Egyptian tombs that are 3,000 years old and are still perfectly edible. Its medicinal properties are so powerful it literally never spoils. Next up, the pomegranate. Its constant presence in scripture. You see it everywhere from Mosaic law to the decorations on Solomon's temple. That was a huge statement about its importance. It was a symbol of life and abundance, which was basically foreshadowing its incredible medicinal value. And the science today is just staggering. Modern clinical trials show that pomegranate juice has 3 times the antioxidant capacity of red wine and green tea combined. This isn't a small difference, it's a massive, massive leap. This fruit is in a class all by itself when it comes to fighting off damage in the body. But this brings up a really important question. If all these biblical foods are so powerful, why do some of them, I'm talking about dairy and wheat, have such a bad reputation today? Well, this is where we uncover what I call the great mistake. So let's start with dairy, the promised land, right? It was described as a land flowing with milk and honey. It was the ultimate symbol of God's blessing and abundance. So what happened? Why do so many of us struggle with bloating, inflammation, and all kinds of digestive issues from modern milk? The answer is actually hiding in a single protein. The milk of the Bible came from goats and sheep, and they contain something called A2 casein. That's the original, easily digestible protein. It's the same kind found in human mother's milk. But modern commercial cows, through a genetic mutation that happened over time, now mostly produce A1 casein. This protein breaks down into a compound that is super inflammatory and really disruptive to the gut for a lot of people. The point is, we didn't just get milk, we fundamentally changed the milk. And you see where this is going, right? It's the exact same story with wheat. bread was so central to life, it was basically another word for food itself. I mean, Jesus is called the bread of life. And yet, for so many people today, modern bread is a one-way ticket to health problems. So, what went wrong here? Well, once again, we changed the plant. Ancient wheat, like a variety called einkorn, had only 14 chromosomes. The modern dwarf wheat we use today, which was bred for maximum yield, not nutrition, it has 42 chromosomes. This created a grain with a totally different gluten structure, way more starch, and way fewer nutrients. What's making people sick isn't the grain of the Bible, it's the processed commodity we turned it into. And it wasn't just the grain either, it was also how they prepared it. Ancient bread was first sprouted and then it was slow fermented, like sourdough. This whole process broke down those hard-to-digest gluten proteins, and it also broke down something called phytic acid, which actually blocks you from absorbing minerals. This process made the bread a highly nutritious, life-giving food. So, knowing all of this, what do we do? Where do we go from here? This brings us to our final section, how to take all this ancient wisdom and actually apply it to our modern lives. This verse from Corinthians just reframes everything. It tells us that taking care of our physical health isn't about vanity or just chasing the latest trend. It's a fundamental act of stewardship. It's an act of worship. We're actually called to honor God with our bodies. And that's really the core theme here today. The dietary wisdom in the Bible isn't just symbolic. The purification rituals with antimicrobial herbs, the dietary laws, the foods that were prescribed, they were all incredibly practical. They were designed to protect us, to promote life. They were designed to work. So I want to end with this one question for you to really think about. If the most powerful healing foods were prescribed to us thousands of years ago, and if science is finally catching up to prove that ancient wisdom was right all along, what's in your pharmacy? What choices can you make today to start aligning your pantry with this divine blueprint for health?
God's love surrounds you always. May His peace and grace be with you. Thank you, and may God bless you abundantly.